Hollywood Demons is a documentary series which pulls back the curtain of fame to expose the hidden struggles, sacrifices, and scandals of life in the spotlight. From the seemingly cursed dynasties to the iconic figures in a series plagued by peril and misfortune, the new series unveils the shadowy underbelly of Hollywood. Each episode features accounts from Hollywood insiders, project collaborators, and survivors. Insight and perspective are provided in addition by specialist Dr. Drew Pinsky and culture writer Sachi Cole. Episode 1 deals with Stephen Collins. The beloved Seventh Heaven actor faced devastating allegations when a compromising recording came to light. Later, in 2014, his career came to an end after he confessed to sexual abuse against multiple minors. The New York City Police Department began investigating Collins after an audio tape leaked to the media revealed a male voice, purported to be Collins, admitting to past sexual abuse of a minor under the age of 14. The LAPD spokesperson stated that Collins had been investigated by the department in 2012 after receiving a claim for 18 years earlier regarding sexual abuse. Episode 2 deals with child stars gone violent. During the 1980s and 1990s, sitcoms made family-friendly TV, which of course made child stars huge celebrities within America's culture. Unfortunately, this early fame and a lack of a childhood led to crime, addiction, and violence. The episode primarily focuses on Brian Boswell, who found fame playing Andrew Keaton on the NBC sitcom Family Ties from 1986 to 1989, and unfortunately in 2007 would be arrested on charges of assaulting his partner, and later be arrested for third-degree assault and failure to appear in connection with the 2007 assault. The episode also focuses on Zachary Ty Bryan, most famous for his role of Brad Taylor in the ABC sitcom Home Improvement. Unfortunately, Bryan would go on to be arrested many times, starting in October 2020 when he was charged with felony strangulation, misdemeanor charges, and fourth-degree assault, with interfering with making a police report and after apparent argument with his girlfriend. It also has been charged with fourth-degree robbery and harassment. And then on January 2nd, 2025, he was arrested in Myrtle Beach in South Carolina and charged with second-degree domestic violence. Episode 3 is titled The Dark Side of the Power Rangers, which still exists today, but the show primarily focuses on the TV show made for kids during the 1990s. Unfortunately, a lot of the cast members related to the Power Rangers have had huge and unfortunate incidents in their lives. Most notably, with the first yellow Power Ranger, T. Trang, being killed in a car crash in 2001. Multiple suicides from actors that played roles, with actor Ricardo Mendina Jr., who formerly played a Red Power Ranger, pleading guilty to manslaughter after stabbing his roommate to death with a sword. The episode primarily focuses on one of the most famous Power Rangers, Jason David Frank, who played Tommy Oliver on the show for many years. Frank unfortunately would commit suicide in his hotel in Houston, Texas, after hanging himself with a blow-dryer cord. Episode 4 focuses on Housewives gone bad. The episode gives you a glimpse into the real housewives, that on the front it's all wealth and luxury, but tragedy and crime have been marred their glamorous lives. The episode primarily focuses on Taylor Armstrong from Beverly Hills Housewives, who speaks out for the first time about her husband's alleged abuse and the rumors that of course led to his eventual suicide. Episode 5 focuses on the Von Erich wrestling family, and in many ways sets the record straight after the poor representation in the Iron Claw movie released last year. The Von Erichs were a wrestling dynasty of 6 brothers, which unfortunately 5 have died, primarily due to suicide. The episode interviews Kevin Von Erich, the only surviving brother, as he gives an account of their famous lives. And episode 6 focuses on stalking of the stars. This episode focuses on fans' obsessions who take dark turns for stars like Miley Cyrus, Taylor Swift, and Justin Bieber. Family members of the stalkers also share their terrifying side of fandom, while the celebrities' first-hand account of dealing with these relentless stalkers also are told, most notably through famous singer Ashanti. Now, I found Hollywood Demons to be an absolutely fascinating insight into the darker side of celebrity culture, as it were. I was drawn to the series initially, being a wrestling fan, to the episode covering the Von Erichs. Now, I know the Von Erich story very well, but I'm happy to say Hollywood Demons really covers it in its full detail. The tragedy that bestowed upon this most famous of wrestling families is still striking to this day, and even though I don't believe in curses, it does seem that this family was cursed in some ways. Of course, last year the Iron Claw movie was released, but the movie for some odd reason chose to omit one of the brothers, namely Chris Von Erich. Not to mention that the film was entirely inaccurate, with poor casting decisions as well. For me, this almost felt like Kevin trying to set the record straight, and it's wonderful to get the insights now from the complete family and get them to tell the story, as it were. The other episodes were very interesting as well. Stephen Collins, of course renowned actor for Seventh Heaven, where of course he played a Protestant minister, was embroiled in pedophilia charges where he molested young girls. And the episode manages to speak to one of them, as she tells her story of Collins standing naked in front of her and how she was too scared to tell anyone as they wouldn't believe her. I found episode 3 to be one of the most striking besides the Von Erichs one, focusing here primarily on the Power Rangers and how much drama surrounded just one children's TV show in the early 1990s, and how so many of the cast members' lives would end in tragedies. Also, it was fascinating to get a behind-the-scenes look at Jason David Frank, probably the most famous Power Ranger, and how he was a force for good and tried to be positive, but unfortunately when his own brother committed suicide, it had lingering effects which resulted in his own eventual demise. The stalking episode also was quite fascinating, getting insights into how the American law works, and how one stalking case eventually went to the Supreme Court, and how the Supreme Court actually found in favor of the stalker in this case, libeling it free speech under the First Amendment. Probably the weakest episode had to be the one focusing on the Real Housewives. Albeit interesting, it wasn't something I could personally relate to, having never watched the show. And episode 2, of course, focuses on child actors whose lives, of course, turn tragic, as they are used and abused by their parents, the industry, and misspend their youth in a world full of adults and not being guided properly. Look, overall, Hollywood Demons is a fascinating insight and a well-made documentary series. I particularly enjoyed the insights here from Dr. Drew Pinsky, who offers his informed, educated opinion particularly well throughout the show's run, as does Sachi Cole, who of course is a culture writer. While maybe some of the subject matter could have been better chosen, just the episode on the Von Erichs alone is arguably one of the best documentaries I've seen on the complicated Von Erich story. Insightful, fascinating, well written, well produced, with some fascinating insights into these most tragic of entertainment circumstances. Hollywood Demons gets a 9 out of 10.